Good morning, yogis. How are you? Let's get started in standing today. So let's come to our mats in standing position. We'll take a mountain pose. If you have a block or a book that you can use as a block, go ahead and grab that. I like to use those especially in some triangle poses. So let's come to standing mountain pose on our mats. Feet are hip distance apart for a really strong, solid base. And let's really ground down to the earth. So if you're comfortable with your eyes closed, go ahead and close your eyes. And if not, just kind of cast your gaze downward, draw your shoulders back and down and away with a long spine. And rock just a little bit forward. Feel all the weight into all 10 of your toes. Don't lift your heels up, but just feel the weight in your toes. And as you do that, really feel how your quadriceps and front muscles of your legs engage to hold you there. Now squeeze inside your thighs while you're leaning forward. And breathe right there. So just feeling the weight in your toes, like you're gripping down to the earth. Now lean back and feel the weight into your heels. And when you do that, feel the glutes, the backs of your legs and your hamstrings engage. And now come back to center in your feet and just roll gently to the outside edges of your feet, but don't lift up the arches. And as you do that, you're going to feel the outsides of your legs and hips really engage there to keep you stable. And then gently roll inward towards the arches, but don't lift up the outsides, and then feel your inner thighs engage. And so these four corners of your feet are connected, and you feel that through your legs. It's just a really apparent way to feel the connection and how the body moves together. Now just kind of come all four corners of the feet and engage through the lower body. So the inside, the outside, the fronts and the backs of the legs. And now draw the shoulders back and down. And now we're fully engaged in the belly, in the bandhas. So we have this Uddiyana bandha, which is the belly lock, and then the root bandha, which is the underneath the mula bandha. And we're just locked into place like a mountain. Like no storm could ever knock us over. And then come to the breath, the constant. And there we are, in the breath, breathing in and out, in through the nose and out through the nose, long, slow, big inhales, Ujjayi Pranayama. Mountain pose, breath. And now Pratyahara, withdrawal of all the senses around us. So around me there's a little golf tournament going on. It's actually a beautiful day, but I'm not going to allow any of that to come in. What I'm going to do is Pratyahara, withdrawal of all my other senses, and just go right into the breath, practicing that space where there's nothing that can shake me or take me off of my focus, my breath, my prana, and breathe. Standing mountain pose. Concentration, meditation, and movement. Asana, the 8 months of yoga. Sun salutation A, we salute the sun, thanking another day for dawning. Inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, lengthen, look out. And either vinyasa or walk to down dog. So we can either just step back to downward facing dog, or you can take the full vinyasa, either up dog or cobra. And we exhale, meet back in downward facing dog. Here in this first down dog, find some movement. So maybe you paddle your feet or come up on your toes, bend your knees. So really just enjoy the space here in this first downward facing dog. Maybe shake the head yes and no. Breathing into the space, try to draw the heels back and down, toes are pigeon-toed slightly toward one another. And then look to your hands, make your way to the top of your mat, find an inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale and fold. And then inhale, rise again, this time with just a little bit of a back bend. Maybe take the hands behind your head here. Or maybe take your hands into this supported back bend, and then finding that mountain pose again at the top of your mat. Sun Salutation A, we'll do one more with my words, and then we'll do two without my words, just really getting into the flow of your own practice. Inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, look out. And then vinyasa or downward facing dog. And breathe 5 breaths. Long, slow, steady breaths. Look to your hands, walk, step, jump, or float top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise again. Reach to the sky, a little back bend, and then hands in, heart center. Beautiful. Let's do 3 of those now on your own. And if you lose your place, just breathe with your breath and move your body and look up if you need to. It's not much of a sequence, but it's so important to be able to flow with our breath. Inhale, reach. Remember the 5 breaths at the back of the down dog here. Settling in. Pressing the weight out of your hands and back into your feet and breathe. When you're ready to journey to the top of the mat, inhale. Fold. 2 more, yogis, at your pace. Sun Salutation A. Last one at your pace, and when you're finished, just wait in mountain pose, finding your breath and finding some gratitude this morning. And we stand for a moment, perhaps in gratitude, perhaps just being in the moment, in mindfulness. Remember, yogis, you hold the dial to the intensity of your yoga practice, and yogis, you hold the dial to the intensity of your life. If it seems like it's getting too intense, you just turn it down. And if you need a little bit more, you turn it up. but stay in control of that. You may not have control of what's going on outside of you, but you do have control about inside and your reaction. Inhale, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana, Sun Salutation B. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen, look out. Walk, step, jump, or float to plank, or just down dog, yogi's choice. If not, vinyasa, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll slow this down a little bit, reaching the right leg up to the sky. Maybe finding some space here, opening the hip and bending and straightening. Before we bring the knee to the nose, the shoulders over the wrists, and bring the foot right in between the hands to low lunge. Look back behind you and spin the back heel down to tap. And then rise just halfway up, really feeling the whole core, the legs. Bend the knee over the ankle, and then rise up, warrior one. Spin the pinkies gently in, eye gaze up. Open up the chest and the heart, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one, with some breath. And then reach forward, hover. Release to tap. Step back either down dog or vinyasa. The left leg sweeps up, finds the sky, and you find space for your body. Before sending the knee to the nose, foot in between the hands, low lunge. Organize that, so if the foot doesn't make it, move the hands back. Spin the back heel halfway to tap, 45 degrees. Then rise just halfway up, feeling the foundation in your legs and your feet, and then rise all the way. Warrior one. And breathe. Draw the shoulders back down and away. Pinkies curl in, eye gaze up. Heart open, breathe. Hips are squared forward, shoulders are square. And then come forward halfway. Tap the earth. Step back either to down dog or child's pose, or take a vinyasa. Five cleansing breaths. Big inhales and big exhales. Literally feeling any stress or tension that you're having in your body or in your spirit or in your soul, just melting off of us here. As we continue to come back to the moment, to our breath, and to this body in this movement of meditation. Journey to the top of your mat. Find an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sun Salutation B, standing mountain pose, hands to heart center, beautiful. Putting a little balancing posture in before we do another Sun Salutation B. Find something to hold on to if you would like to, or not. The right knee comes up to the chest. Curling the toes up. Lots of energy between the palms, letting the elbows come out. Again, hold on to something if that's appropriate for you. Let's do a little bit of balance work here, setting the legs straight out without looking, leaning forward. So lift up, breathe. Beautiful, lift it a little bit higher without leaning back. Really nice, feeling that quad engaged, feeling that standing leg strong. Remember the four corners of the feet, they're all gripping down, and then gently sweep through. Tap if you'd like. And if not, we just bring it back to warrior three. Arms can stay here at prayer. They can come out to airplane. They can come behind you or in front of you for stick pose. Try to keep the hips squared down. Lots of energy through both feet. Beautiful, warrior three. Breathe. Feeling the standing leg perhaps fatiguing a little bit. If that happens, stand tall, mountain pose. If not, stay with me, bring the knee back to chest. Really challenging that standing leg. And then step down, feet hip distance apart, some hip rolls. Opening up hip flexors here, really giving that leg the rest it needs. So in our yoga practice, really knowing the difference and the balance between the rest and the work, and hopefully being able to translate that into our lives. The balance between work and play, and spending and saving, and friends and family, and laziness and action, right? Eating and drinking, and all kinds of balance we need to have in our lives. Coming back to mountain pose. Hands come to heart center, left knee comes to chest, finding balance again. Hold on, option. Really feel the quad engaged, toes lift, belly's locked, roots locked, breath is strong and flowing. And then send the legs straight out. Really feel that quad. Notice the four corners of the feet on the right foot and the right leg. Breathe. At any time, you can always step down, but if you can, just lift it up a little bit higher. Try not to lean back. The body wants to always take the path of least resistance, and in our practice, we can challenge that. Sweep it back, tap or don't, warrior three. Any arm variation that feels appropriate and comfortable, breathe. Either step down mountain pose or knee back to chest, challenging the balance and the leg just a little bit more. This time we stand down, hands reach behind us, grasp either hands, palms, or elbows, bend the knees, and then forward fold, bringing those hands up as far as you can, giving the shoulders a nice big stretch. If that doesn't feel good, hands can come down. Bend the knees and find this forward fold here. Once again, yogi's choice on that forward fold. Heel to your feet back together to touch. Feet together, knees together, legs together, one big leg, and we sweep back up, chair pose, Utkatasana. For another sun salutation B. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, look out. Walk, step, jump, or float to plank, or simply downward facing dog. Vinyasa, upward facing dog, or cobra. Exhale, pressing back. Downward facing dog. Moving a little faster this time. Right foot steps through, rise up, warrior one. With the inhale to the top. And the exhale brings us right back down through vinyasa or down dog. The left foot steps through, rise up, warrior one, left side. And vinyasa takes us out with the breath. Perhaps it's appropriate now, instead of down dog, to take a child's pose, to rest. Or perhaps your practice calls for an inversion. Please feel free to take that now. Or simply stay in the downward facing dog and find some stillness in the downward facing dog. So lots of options always. I say it all the time, life's full of choices. Your yoga practice is full of choices. Choose wisely for what you need in that moment. Assess what you need, moment by moment, breath by breath. That is the definition of self-care. That word is thrown around a lot. Simply means taking inventory moment by moment and making time for you, space for you, honoring yourself. Journey to the top of your mat, finding an inhale, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana, finishing this sun salutation B sequence, and then hands to heart center, mountain pose again. Coming into balancing pose again. This time we stand on the right leg. So make sure we're standing on the right leg, and we'll bring the left knee up to our chest. Hold on to something if necessary. And then turning this into tree pose. Tree can either be tap the floor, the ankle above or below the knee, or inside the inner thigh. If you're super flexible and right off the bat, you can take a half lotus here. So the hips are squared forward. So notice if you can find the hip points and turn them forward. Squeezing the foot to the thigh, or the strong leg standing is strong, feeling all four corners of those feet trying to ground you for balance, and then reach the arms to the sky. Beautiful, breathe. And I invite you here in this tree posture, Vrikshasana, to perhaps move your arms, maybe 3 different positions to really challenge the balance, or maybe you're holding on and not challenging yourself or your balance, and you're just using this as simple yogic movement meditation with no challenge. This knee comes back to your chest. We're standing on the right leg, and send this back to crescent lunge, up on the tiptoe on the left toes. Rise up, crescent lunge, high lunge. Beautiful. Similar to the warrior, except the back foot is not down, its heel is raised. The arms come out to the side, and the left hand, make an L so you know, comes down to the earth for lunge twist. Rolling to the outside edges of your feet and breathe. Maybe taking some big arm circles here. Beautiful breath and movement. We're turning this into a wide stance fold by taking the right hand down and turning a half turn back to the back of your mat, finding that big wide stance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knees, taking some alternate leg stretching, or maybe a hammock pose, or whatever it is that feels right for you. Perhaps even an inversion here, or maybe you want to come forward for some plank push-ups. You can also have a seat on your mat and just rest right there. So yogis, I invite you now to take whatever it is that works for you in this forward fold wide angle. Prasarita Padastasana. The right toes come forward, the left toes curl in for 45 degrees as we rise up. If you do have a block, bring it with you behind your foot and rise up, warrior 2. Somebody, I guess, got a hole in one of my gloves over here. Sink down to warrior 2. Pump warrior 3 times, noticing the difference between the ease of the pose here and then the effort of the pose in the body when we come out to the warrior 2. Do that 2 more times, effort and ease, breathe. And then tip this over for side angle pose. I'll take hand to block. You can take elbow to thigh or hand, wherever it feels most comfortable. But the key in the posture is to sink in, knee over ankle, and the shoulder open so the chest and the heart spin open. Beautiful, breathe. Look up or down or wherever the neck feels most comfortable in the side angle pose. Same for the arm, wherever that feels most comfortable. We gently come first through warrior 2, noticing the strength in the leg here. And then exalted warrior, staying still low in that front knee and really reaching up and back behind you. Beautiful. We cartwheel down again, stepping back to plank. Holding plank for a moment, perhaps taking the knees to tap for side plank on the right side. Right hand comes to center, right knee can tap or not. Inhale, lift the arm up or keep it at the hip, stack or scissor the feet, and reach for side plank, Padastasana. Any variation that you take is beautiful and acceptable, and yours. Breathe. Plank again, downward facing dog, resets the hips and spine. Stay here, take child's pose, or maybe even come forward for plank or some more push-ups. Or some push-ups, we haven't taken any yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Downward facing dog or child's pose, or maybe even another inversion here, yogis. Your choice. Finishing in downward facing dog. Or child's pose, and breathe for 5 strong, slow breaths. Once again, noticing where you're at right now. Noticing the thoughts and staying here present, focused in the moment with the breath. Journey towards the top of your mat, finding an inhale once you get there, lengthening. Exhale and fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana again. And then stand tall, mountain pose, finding space, honoring yourself. Finding breath. Standing on the left leg this time, the right knee comes to your chest, and we find your version of tree pose, whatever that might be for you today. Motion the arms in 3 different ways. We bring the knee back to the chest and find crescent lunge up on that right tiptoe as we step back. In 1 movement or 2, the right hand comes down for a twist, low lunge twist, maybe open up to outside edges of one of your feet. And a little quarter turn takes us to this wide stance fold. This time we're going to work a little bit of shoulder opening. So if you do have a block or a book, bring it here. Right hand comes down onto the earth or to the block, and the left hand to hip. We stack the shoulders, trying to find the heart open here. The twist comes from mid-spine. Reach the hand either to sky or around your back, or just simply keep it right on your hip and breathe. There's an option here to take a twist, taking that left hand through and under towards the right ankle, but that's only an option that you take if it feels appropriate. So we can reach it underneath and through, finding more space here in a twist in the opposite way. And always finding the breath, especially in these twists, to really feed that posture, that asana with the prana, with the breath, and really facilitate the movement. We release back, hands down, Prasarita Padastasana. Take your hands to the outside edges of your feet, or maybe a toe bind here, before we come in for the twist on the other side. So really finding the tail towards the sky, crown towards the earth, lots of length in the back of the body. Bend the knees if appropriate, and as much as you need to. Breathe. The left hand comes down to a block, earth, or book, and the right hand reaches for the hip first for the twist. And then, if appropriate, reaches for the sky or beyond, maybe the back. And we find the shoulders stacked and the heart shining, and the breath strong and full. If appropriate, wind underneath and through, reaching the right hand for the left ankle, finding a little bit more of a twist in the opposite direction here. Again, yogi's choice. You can even take a double bind if that's appropriate and in your practice. And you can even throw another inversion here if it feels appropriate. Enjoying the final breaths here in this wide stance fold before we come halfway up, turning the left toes forward, the right toes in just a little bit, finding that warrior 2, and here we are. Pump in warrior times 3, noticing the effort and ease. Inhale, reach. And exhale, come on down. And let's do that again. Inhale. And one more time. And then the last one, inhale. And finding that warrior 2 again. Side angle pose, elbow to knee. Bending in and really opening. Think about that back hip opening and the shoulder opening. Option to use a block, I always do. It just feels so much better in my body to open up. The right hand can either be the sky, over Uttita, bicep over ear, or hand on hip, or wrapped behind. Keep spinning the chest and the heart open, shining towards the sun. Breathe. From here we exalt, finding exalted warrior two, reaching up and back. Sinking into front knee lunge, hips are open, and we breathe. We cartwheel down to plank again. Holding plank for a moment, really finding the strength. And then option to take the left knee down, left hand moves to center for side plank on the left side. Option knee down, doesn't have to be down. You can also lift the top leg. That top arm can spin in any direction. We're in Vashisthasana, left side plank, and we breathe. Coming back to plank position, pressing back through downward facing dog, and breathe. Take a break, take a drink of water, or just simply enjoy downward facing dog or child's pose for 5 nice, long, slow breaths. Beautiful breath. Still practicing Pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, trying to not only tune out my voice, but the other external sounds and the internal sounds of your own mind that keep chattering away. It's a beautiful practice to really go within, so breathe. Focus. Look towards your hands, journey to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana, chair pose. Really nice. And then we stand tall, mountain pose again. Breathe. Inhale, chair, Utkatasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Walk, step, jump, or float to the back of your mat. Either press back, downward facing dog, or take a vinyasa. Upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, pressing back. Downward facing dog, right leg lifts to the sky, open up hip on hip again. If you flip your dog and you're comfortable with your dog flipped, flip it and breathe in that space. If not, just continue to open and close the leg. So yogi's choice here. Setting up for warrior two on the right side, the foot steps through, we rise, open, warrior two. Briefly touch warrior two before we straighten out the front leg and step the back foot in, one footprint. Finding wide leg triangle pose. Hand comes to block, earth, or shin. Again, stacking the shoulders like we did before in both the twist and also the side angle. Here we are in triangle pose, Trikonasana, pressing through the front toe and really lifting out of the body, so we're not dumping into that bottom hand at all. And with the breath, we find exalted triangle like we had exalted warrior before. This time the front leg is straight. And we breathe. Coming back to center, hands on hips, turn the back toes forward. So we're facing forward, shoulders and hips. The left arm reaches for the sky, make an L with your hand. And then come forward. This could be enough right here, or we take the hand to the earth or a block for a twisted triangle, hand on the hip, or hand to the sky. If you'd like more twist in the posture, that bottom hand, the left hand, can come across the right foot for more. If it's too much, take the back foot and step it out to give yourself a wider base. Both hands come down, Parsvottanasana, head to knee pose. If you need to come up on the tiptoe in the back, do that. If not, really find the opening in the back of that right leg by bringing the nose to the knee, chest to the thigh. Stay right here and breathe into this beautiful space, really organizing the hips. So turn them into different directions. Feel what that feels like in the back of your leg and the right side. There's options in every posture. I'm offering a split here, a standing split, or a handstand, or nothing. Stay right where we are. It's a beautiful posture, head to knee pose. So yogi's choice here. I'm going to stay right with this pose. I really am enjoying the opening I'm feeling in the back of that right leg. But if you're feeling it, take that handstand, stand split, or split on the earth. And breathe. Giving you 3 to 5 breaths to find whatever it is that works for your body. Before we meet together in standing forward fold, top of your mat, heel till your feet apart, 2 fists. Take peace sign finger grip around the big toes and Pada Ustasana. And lift up, lengthen, pressing the booty back like you want to make a butt print on the wall behind you. And exhale, elbows come out, chin to chest, chest to thighs. Breathe, beautiful. And then we rise up to stand, finding a back bend of your choice. And some more hip circles. Looks like the tournament is over. Just in time for us to enter into Shavasana. We have one more side to do. Triangles, and then we'll end on our backs. Top of your mat, feet together. Sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, and then vinyasa, or downward facing dog. Yogi's choice once again. Upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale, press back, down dog. Left leg reaches and lifts and opens, finding space. Option to flip. If you flipped or you want to, this left leg touches the earth and just open. Unwind, step through Warrior 2. Briefly tap Warrior 2. Before we straighten the leg, heel to the foot in, wide leg triangle pose. Noticing what it feels like to really shine the heart and stack the shoulders and chest. Open, breathe. Trikonasana on the left side, triangle pose. And then we come back, up, and reach for exalted triangle. Really reach up before you lean back, really pressing through that big toe on the front. And then the hands come to the hips, we turn the back toes in, hips and shoulders square, right hand reaches for the sky. Come forward, extend, and then hand to block or earth for twisted triangle. Opposite hand on the hip as you twist open, squeezing the inner thighs like a scissor, like you're trying to slice through a piece of paper, but there's no paper there. Open and breathe. Beautiful yogis. Come back, head to knee pose. We held this for 3 to 5 breaths. Maybe come up on the back tiptoe if you need more space, but really feel the opening in the back of the left leg. Go ahead and twist the hips a little bit until you find that sweet spot where it opens and feels wonderful. More options for standing splits, handstands, or splits on the earth, and breathe. Everybody meet forward, fold top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees and come to a little low squat right on your tiptoes here. Either hold on to the earth or bring the hands to heart center. So here we are in this low squat on the tiptoes, hands either touching the earth or at heart center. Balancing here. Perhaps close your eyes or maybe take toe stand, taking the knees open, heels to touch. And breathe. We all together find seated, bound angle, feet together, knees apart at the back of your mat or wherever you are on your mat. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, come forward. Use the elbows to open out the knees for more hip opening here. Breathe. Yogis, I invite you now to find finishing postures for your practice, and that could be an inversion, it could be a back bend, it could be some spinal twisting, it could be some ab work. So take about 2 minutes on your own here to figure out what it is that your body really is craving, and then we'll enter into Shavasana. Remembering that even after I finish class, if you want to continue your meditation or your Shavasana, please do that. If you have nowhere to be, that's the beauty of online classes. If you have nowhere else to be, just stay right where you are and enjoy the fruits of the labor of your practice, which is the meditation and Shavasana. So let's come into whatever final postures are feeling good for you this morning. Spinal twists, back bends, whatever it might be. Maybe a spinal twist with some ab work. Perhaps you're needing some more hip openers. And then when you're ready, stretch yourself out on your mat in Shavasana. Big breath in and a big exhale. Hands on your belly. Go ahead and shake your head no just a little bit, getting any tension out of your head and neck. Continue to stay reclining as you unclench your jaw. Let your eyelids gently drape across your eyelids, releasing the muscles of your face, releasing any tension in your fists, in your belly, in your legs. Feeling the breath flow freely through the body. In the collective consciousness we're entering in on right now, in this place of peace and this place of rest and this place of self-care together. Really listening to what our bodies need, giving ourselves that rest that we require every day. If you are comfortable on your back, stay there. If you're more comfortable laying on your side or seated, do what feels right for your body right now as you enter in. Noticing again the inhales and the exhales as they gently come and go like waves of the ocean. And if the thoughts should start to appear, allow them also to float across your mind like clouds that float through the sky. Today is December 5th, and today's reading is about fun. And I invite you to stay right where you are in your Shavasana as I do the reading, and then you can feel free to either sit or stay where you are for as long as you need. Life can be fun. How careful and guarded we can be with fun, with playing, with sheer enjoyment. Whether we're working, traveling, or wandering around town, sometimes we act as though there's a limited amount of scarce supply of fun available. We can't take too much or it'll be all gone. But yogis, that's not true. There is an abundance of fun. And it's okay if we did something fun yesterday. Who said we can't have fun 2 days in a row? So have some fun with life, with love, with work. And then yogis, go out and have some more fun. Until we meet again, have a beautiful day. Namaste.